Ride with me today on a favorite local loop. We're going to see a historic landmark, visit a Navy museum, ride some great roads, and have a good time. From Olympia, Washington, we're going to head northeast to State Route 104 before heading north to Bremerton to check out the Navy Museum and a historic landmark. Then we're going to connect to the Coast Highway. We're going to take the Coast Highway south along Hood Canal back to Olympia. Should be about 173 miles. We'll see some good sights, ride some great roads, have a great time out on the bike today. It is a beautiful day, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you along with me. So without further ado, let's hit the road. We're on the road, getting on the freeway real quick to head north. I'm leaving pretty late. Boy, this Kia is making me late. All right, Kia, we're getting on the freeway now. All right, where was I? My thinking is that by leaving a little later in the day, we're gonna avoid all the RVs and stuff on the road, which will hopefully be at their campsites and their destinations by now. Unfortunately, this means that the Navy Museum I want to go to is going to be closed. Out of nowhere, we've got summer conditions, 75 degrees. I've got mesh gear and a t-shirt under. It's just great. We've got about 20 miles of this freeway. We're going to head into the city of Tacoma and cross the Tacoma Narrows Bridge before we get to our destination. So I'll see you at the bridge. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Magnificent. It's like our mini green Golden Gate. You may have heard of Galloping Gertie. Yeah, after Galloping Gertie, they sort of decided to research material science a little bit better and build bridges with the idea of resonance in mind. We're crossing the Narrows here. They call it the Narrows because this is where Puget Sound literally narrows. And you get some pretty good weather through here, especially if you're down there on a little boat. Oh, more traffic. Nothing I can do about traffic. I don't make it out here that often, but when I do, it's always a pleasure. You just get to ride along the water here. It's just a nice ride. It is busy out here this weekend, though. It's much anticipated. You're riding around in the winter, you can kind of get used to people not being out doing recreational things. Look at this nice area here. Cool breeze, drops down temperature a couple degrees. This up here in a mile or so, we'll get on the 304 and head into town in Bremerton and check out this site, which you can actually see in the distance if it weren't such a wide angle. So what we're going to go see is a pretty important piece of machinery. It's a giant crane. It is massive, and we'll see it here in a minute. The best place to get a good view of it is the Navy Museum, which is closed right now, but it is something I would like to see one of these days. And we're approaching the Navy shipyard here in Bremerton. There's some pretty spectacular vessels moored here. Entering Bremerton, I feel like we were just here. If you caught that earlier video of when I took the ferries, I caught the ferry home in the evening here in Bremerton. And check that one out if you haven't seen it. The museum, I think that's the museum, but where do I park? It is closed.
Take a right up here, and then it'll be like your first right.
First right, he said. It must be this right. Well, I found myself in a public parking garage. kind that often doesn't recognize motorcycles when you try to exit them. So that is a concern. Well, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. Just walking along the Bremerton waterfront. Pretty nice place to be. And we'll see what we came here for in just a second. Do you guys see the name of this boat? That's a good name. This is a ferry terminal. It's where we didn't have to wait the other day. In case of tsunami, run away from tsunami. Don't run towards tsunami. This is about as close as you can get. This is hammerhead crane. A crane that was used to install guns on ships. Pretty remarkable piece of equipment. You can see it just towers over the rest of the landscape. It's 85 years old, 25 stories tall, and 2,500 tons. Apparently they're going to maintain it as long as possible to maintain it as a historic landmark on the waterfront here in Bremerton. And see if tourists like me just want to come and check it out. Anyway, let's head back to the bike and continue on our little road trip today. Okay, let's see if this thing knows that I'm here. Anybody with a motorcycle might know what I'm talking about. Insert card. Take glove off. Take out wallet. Okay. I was a little worried about that. The worst thing is when you're stuck at one of those barricades on a bike and you gotta push the little button, having paid for a ticket or starting, you know, the process, starting the time basically, and you gotta push that little button for help, and then the person says, "Oh, just go around." But the problem is, how does it know that I have left? So I'm still on the clock, see? Anyway, then you gotta just go and then deal with it later at the medical center where I get doctor's checkups and whatnot. The verdict has been that when I ride a bike there, I just go around the turnstiles both ways. There's just no other way for it. Okay, onwards and upwards. That was kind of cool. See that old crane? I like odd pieces of equipment like that. The amount of work that they do is very, very interesting to me. The engineering behind it is impressive. Around this crazy thing. Nice little neighborhood. Stop sign. That I can do. A little bit of traffic here. We turn onto the Hood Canal Bridge. I guess people are still headed to their campsites. I had to stop in a safe spot on the side of the road there for a minute to change some batteries, and I heard some bikes went by. One of them shouted, "Are you okay?" It's kind of nice of him to do that. I half expected him to turn around and, you know, come see if I needed some help. Pretty nice out here. I always like to see every time you go across a bridge like this, there's a smooth side of the water and a rough side of the water. Just because, you know, all the current is coming from the rough side. The bridge absorbs all that energy, smooths out the water. 63 degrees Fahrenheit now. So in a matter of some minutes, it dropped 16 degrees. And now we're coming out of mesh gear territory. 59, there we go. But I have a liner and all kinds of goodies in these panniers. Back on the 104, things start to get pretty nice from here. And now I'm getting that old fuel level warning light again. I have no idea where the fuel station might be. 9 miles to 101. That's the coast highway. We're gonna take that south. I would love to know what temperature it is now. It feels a lot warmer. It was, 59 degrees going over that bridge there, and now it feels back up to 70 or so, but I can't tell because all I can tell is that I am low on fuel, and that fuel is something to do with a giant icon of a gas pump. I get the point, Kawasaki. Well, that guy was really nice. He let me, I wasn't thinking anything of it, but he let me by. So I took advantage of that, but I probably burned up the only amount of fuel I have to get to the gas station. Now I really need fuel. Twinkles drinks some fuel sometimes. 8.6 miles to Quilcene. There will be fuel in Quilcene, so we'll just cruise until then and not run out of fuel. I think it was a good plan to come out here at the time that I did and actually hit the 101 on the way back rather than the way forward, because no RVs in sight. Nothing against RVs. I would just rather ride on the road when they are at their campsites for the evening. And if you've ever driven one of those things, you'll know why they're going so slowly. Those things are diabolical to drive, so it's not their fault. I don't hold it against them. They're out here having fun in the countryside just like I am, but man, if I can avoid them, I definitely will. What a picturesque farmhouse. 5 miles to Quilcene. Will we make it? Nurse it along, 55 miles an hour, getting good gas mileage. I could check to see what my mileage is, but all I can see is that I have low fuel. I understand. Village store, they have some fuel. Oh, I hope it's expensive. It is incredibly expensive. Fresh fuel. Ethanol free. Smells so good. Well, see you later, Quilcene. Thanks for the fuel. The E-free fuel. 101 South, the coast highway. Not on the coast in this case, although it will follow the Hood Canal coastline. But mainly it'll just be through this beautiful forest. Perfect time of day. I'll say it again. All the RV parks are full of RVs and the roads are not full of RVs. This section of 101 that I'm on now is part of a bigger ride that's very popular, just called the Olympic Peninsula Loop, where you actually follow the coast road up the Washington coast, and then it cuts inland and goes up and around to Port Angeles through the strait, or next to the strait, and then back down this way. And that's a pretty long ride, probably 8 hours or more. But this is why so many of us come up to ride the peninsula. It's just beautiful in here. Hood Canal. Wonderful. Looks like the tide is pretty high. Dos Wallops State Park. Dos Wallops River. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Dos Wallops correctly. Probably not. Duckabush River. We have good names out here for rivers. That is quite the inflatable Bigfoot. Across the Hamma Hamma River. And there's the Hamma Hamma slide. But I wanted to pull in here. The place is closed, but this is Hamma Hamma oysters. Yes, this is a giant mountain of oyster shells, and it continues. There's a mountain of oyster shells behind the mountain of oyster shells. This was one impressive cluster of oysters. It was probably delicious. Leaving Hamma Hamma. Welcome back, Hamma Hamma. Yeah, that's a pretty good place to come for oysters. Get a reservation online. Last time we were there, we didn't have a reservation. We stopped by, we waited in line, we got some tasty snacks, and the weather looked like this, and by the time we sat down, it was pouring rain so bad. People were ducking for cover, and it was pretty remarkable. Torrential downpour. Yeah, I was completely soaked to the bone just from walking to the car. Some more miles of the beautiful road here, and then we'll kind of roll back into town maybe around sunset or something like that. I did two things. You'd be proud of me. I set the clock and adjusted my suspension, front and rear actually, but most importantly, the preload is set for me, so I'm much happier. I'm not bouncing around so bad. Just beautiful this time of evening. Can't get too distracted though. There are deer, around here, but there are less deer than you might expect because this is saltwater. It's when you have woods and then a road along a lake or something that you see so many deer. And they are jerks and they are terrifying. You just gotta take it easy. Beautiful evening on Hood Canal here. It's the end of the loop, or almost. It's 13 miles to Olympia, so it won't be long. And we're back at the Capitol. I think we'll call it the Hamma Hamma Loop. That was the Hamma Hamma Loop. At least that's what we've named it. Thanks so much for tagging along with me on the loop today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more. We really appreciate you watching and hitting that subscribe button to Shishko Moto, and stay tuned for another episode later. Thanks, guys. Okay, bye. Roundabout the roundabout, 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 roundabout the roundabout.